Antarctica. It is Earth's fifth largest continent and is covered almost completely in ice. It represents 70% of the total freshwater, including groundwater, in the world. It is in fact a desert, as it does not rain or snow a lot there. The small amounts of snowfall builds up over hundreds and thousands of years to form its large thick ice sheets. The quantity of the ice sheet is kept in balance by a process of gain and loss. Gain from the snowfall in winter and loss from the melting in summer. When ice sheets are met with warm water, huge chunks of ice break from these ice sheets and form new icebergs. These icebergs begin floating alone in open water. These ice-breaking events are known as calving. Now with the basic intro covered, let's get into our story, which happened in the western edge of the Ronne ice shelf, northwest Antarctica. The iceberg, known as A76, split from Antarctica's Ronne ice shelf into the Weddell Sea of the South Ocean. Spotting this new berg was a global effort. The iceberg was first sighted by polar oceanographer Keith Mackinson with the British Antarctic Survey. The twin Copernicus Sentinel-1 satellites from the European Space Agency scanned the area on 13th of May and confirmed a giant slab of ice breaking away from the shelf. The satellite image shows the edge of the Ronne ice shelf in early May. You can already see a large crack forming from west to east. A few days later, the crack widened and the ice started to break off on the eastern side. In the next few days, this detached the entire block of ice from the ice shelf, and the largest iceberg in the world, A76, was born. This finger-shaped iceberg is roughly 170 kilometers long and 25 kilometers wide, with an area of 4,320 square kilometers, according to the European Space Agency. Its total area is 3 times bigger than a city like Delhi, more than 70 times the size of Manhattan City, New York, more than 3 times the size of Los Angeles, half the size of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Right now, A76 is the world's largest iceberg. Yeah, A76 is big berg. A76 is now the first iceberg to break off from the ice shelf. An iceberg, A23, formed in 1986 with a size of about 1,500 square miles. An iceberg, B15, spotted in 2000, reaching a massive 4,200 square miles. It was the biggest iceberg in recorded history, larger than the whole island of Jamaica. The A76 is only about 1/3 the size of B15. An iceberg, A68, spotted in 2017, covering 2,239 square miles. A74 iceberg that broke off the Brunt ice shelf in February earlier this year was 1,270 square kilometers. The name of these icebergs refer to the region it first carved from. A76 is the 76th iceberg to be tracked by the US National Ice Center in the Antarctic region. Hence, it is named as A76. Why did A76 become headlines? If the iceberg caving is happening at regular intervals throughout history, why the state-sized floating ice alone becomes sensational? It has been a concern for scientists who attributed A76 calving to global warming and climate change. Glaciologists say that the periodic calving of ice shelves and icebergs forming are part of natural process, but climate change has accelerated the process. According to a report by NASA, the calving of icebergs has increased in Greenland because the ice sheet has been out of balance. Global warming is heating our oceans and accelerating the melting of the Antarctic and Greenland ice sheets. As per the National Snow and Ice Data Center, if losses from iceberg calving and ice shelf melting are greater than the gains from snowfall, it is out of balance and global sea levels will rise. And also, it's important to track their formation because they can be dangerous to ships navigating in the area. In 2017, an iceberg, A68A, came dangerously close to colliding with South Georgia Island, threatening the home of thousands of penguins, seals, and a small population of endangered blue whales and other wildlife. But thankfully, it broke into smaller chunks before it reached the island. The iceberg that sank the Titanic on April 14, 1912 was estimated to be 400 feet in length and 100 feet above the ocean surface. A76 is now floating freely on the Weddell Sea in the western Antarctic, where the explorer Ernest Shackleton once lost his ship to pack ice. Scientists say that A76 will eventually melt and break into 2 or 3 smaller pieces. It may move northward toward waves and warmer water temperature, says Chris Redinger, the Antarctic lead analyst at the US National Ice Center. There are other clear signs that Antarctica is being impacted by climate change. Since 1992 alone, the continent has shed 3 trillion of ice, and the rate of loss is speeding up because of climate change. We are losing a lot of ice since the world started pumping carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Earth's average surface temperature has gone up by 1 degree Celsius since 19th century, and average sea levels have risen about 9 inches since 1880. Antarctica is warming at a faster pace than the rest of the planet. If Antarctica's entire ice sheet were to melt, it could raise the sea levels by nearly 200 feet. Climate change also affects the survival of microbes, facilitating the spread of viruses, which we are facing. It's our responsibility to save the health of the earth, to save our life. Our planet is our only future.